It's 12:30 on a Friday afternoon, which means we're going to talk everything employment, jobs in Australia. My name is Mark Smith. I am Group Managing Director of People to People in Australia and the UK, and Frog Recruitment in New Zealand. And actually, we're broadcasting today from the New Zealand office in Wellington of Frog Recruitment. We have an opportunity which is based in New Zealand. We'll talk about that in a second. But there's also a lot more to talk about, particularly in regards to the gender pay gap. That's our stat of the week. We also have the Twitter poll from last week, where we'll find out whether Australians are really interested in taking on that second job. And we'll be finding out more about a working holiday and why it's such a good thing to do in Australia from May Savova from our Melbourne office. We'll be crossing to her with some tips for people who are considering a working holiday. And for those people who are going on a working holiday to the UK, we also have two opportunities, one here in New Zealand and one in the UK, for those who are looking to travel and work at the same time. So much to talk about. Let's get into our stat of the week. Weeks ago, it was International Women's Day, and so I thought I would take the opportunity to talk through the national gender pay gap by industry, and this was released in February of this year. And what you can see here are the industries with a comparison between November 22 and May 22 with the gender pay gap. And so right at the top of the list here, we've got professional, scientific and technical services. And we're talking about a pay gap in May 22 of 25% and in November 22 of 21%. So definite improvement there. And then as we go down the list, we have healthcare, 22 to 21, financial and insurance services, 19, with a deterioration to 19.1, admin support services from 13.6 deteriorating to 18.5%, information or IT and telecommunications from 14.8 to 16.9. And where we have the least, I suppose, in November 22 is public administration and safety with a 6% pay gap. Now, People to People have an office in London, and we have P2P Live UK that we broadcast, and we talked about the national gender pay gap for the UK, and we're looking at numbers across the UK of 9%. So in industries in Australia where we're talking 20%, there is a lot of work to do in Australia to close the gap for this pay discrimination between women and men in the workforce. There's something that we will keep looking at from People to People on an ongoing basis, so that we can see if there is improvement there. Thanks also to the Workplace Gender Equality Agency and the ABS, who actually compile these numbers, and we'll keep track of those over time. We've got two jobs to talk to you about in Australia this week, which are hot jobs. Here's the first one. It's a logistics team member in Perth in Western Australia. It's a temp job. It's paying $27 plus an hour plus super. And you're packing and dispatching medical equipment, keeping accurate records of that, and liaising with hospital staff. Previous experience in pick packing is an advantage. And if you've got any sort of exposure to health, that's definitely going to help out as well. So Amadine is the consultant in our Perth office that you need to have a chat to, amadine@people2people.com.au. Now, you can apply right now by just clicking on the link in the comments. And of course, if you have any comments, we can see them live and we can respond to your questions. Or you can pick up the phone to Amadine on 08 6160 6205. Here's the next opportunity, and it's a social media manager in our in Parramatta, in Western Sydney. The person that you need to speak to is Patricia Melendez, where you'll be developing and executing social media activities and generating ideas for social media, driving engagement, optimizing content for multiple social channels. So your minimum of 3 years of social media experience is required for this one. It's a competitive salary. They're willing to negotiate. Pick up the phone to Patricia, 02 82709744 to learn more about that opportunity, or hit apply now on the opportunity in the comments below. Okay, so working holiday is a great thing. And here's a job that we've got for you in London. It's a social worker. Now, they are desperate for social workers in the UK right now, so they're negotiable on the rate. So if you have experience, you're degree qualified in social work, CQ, SW or CSS, and you're experienced in social work and have a proven track record in managing complex care situations, we've got an opportunity for you in London right now. So you're managing defined caseloads and working across various industries, such as healthcare, hospital, child welfare, and family. So get in touch with Liz Jones, our consultant in London, liz@people2people.co.uk, or give her a call, +44 for the UK, 7436 703099, or you can just hit apply now in the comments and jump onto that particular opportunity. So now we've got a video for you for an opportunity right here in New Zealand. So let's take a look at that.
We are currently working with a Kiwi-owned energy and electricity company that's looking for a recruitment advisor to join their team for the next 12 months. This role is located in East Tamaki and it is a 40-hour full-time role. It does offer some work from home flexibility and it is paying around $85,000 to $100,000 a year depending on experience. They are looking for someone that has that end-to-end recruitment experience as well as someone who is a great communicator that enjoys to communicate and meet with new people. You'll be taking over the waged and salaried roles of the business, so you will be working across some technical, professional and management roles, and they are looking for someone that has some creative solutions and ideas to help streamline processes when needed. If you feel like this is the role for you, please get in touch.
Okay, it's time to talk all things working holiday. Let's have a quick chat and cross live now to May Savova in our Melbourne office. Hey, Mary.
Hey, Mark. Thanks for having me. How you going?
I'm very well indeed. I'm downtown Wellington here in New Zealand. And Wellington is a little bit like Melbourne in that it has like in the morning, it could be sunny. In the afternoon, it could be raining. And because it's Wellington, it's nearly always windy. But right now, it's a bit sunny, sort of. How is it in Melbourne?
It is sunny today, which is great, but there's an awesome buzz in the city today because it's the first day of the F1. So I think it's only a matter of time before the jets come passing by the office. So looking forward to that. But yeah, there's a really nice buzz in Melbourne today.
Cool. And it's yet another reason to come on a working holiday to Australia. And you've got some tips for everybody who's thinking about it, yeah?
Yes, definitely. So there's obviously a lot of advantages on a working holiday visa. One of them is immersing yourself into the different cultures. And I think the advantage of partnering with someone like People to People when you're on your working holiday visa is that we have such a wide reach, being the UK, Australia and New Zealand. 3 very different cultures that you could immerse yourself into. So very exciting from that perspective. But it's also a good way to further develop your skills and gain more experience in your preferred industries. And for me, working in the legal sector, I work with a lot of candidates that might come from the US, the UK, and NZ who've recently graduated and might be looking to add that legal experience onto their CVs, and it just looks great. Like, imagine going back home and you've got this global or international law firm on your CV. So really exciting for that from that perspective, but also really good opportunity to connect with new people and really build your own personal confidence and growth from that perspective. So if you are looking to get into Melbourne or some of the other branches that we have across People to People on a
Are there other branches other than Melbourne, Mary? Like, I know what the team are like.
Melbourne's the best, obviously. No, but there's plenty of work going around across the country and overseas within People to People. So it's definitely a good time. The pay rates are good. There's plenty of opportunities back to back as well. So sometimes one of the main concerns for people is, will I have a role once I finish this one? Chances are, yes, there's plenty of work going on. So we've got candidates that will tend to work for us back to back, and even, you know, they'll finish a role in Melbourne and they say, I want to look at the West Coast for a little bit, and they'll go to Perth, and I'll refer them to my colleagues in Perth, and then they get a job there. So it's an awesome advantage for you to work with People to People on a working holiday visa, because we do have those connections locally and internationally.
Yeah, I can say from personal experience, and I'm showing my age here a little bit, but I did my OE working holiday experience back in the 90s. That's last century, by the way, Mary. But back in the 90s, and it was highly valuable and certainly worthwhile. It definitely adds a dimension to your CV there as well. So if you're an Aussie and you're looking to go to the UK, we can certainly help you out. I was chatting to the UK office just yesterday, and they were saying to me that it is still very busy at the moment. Lots of work in central London. There's specifically around accounting and finance auditors. There's a big demand there as well right now. And I think we've got a couple of opportunities coming up across the ditch here in New Zealand and also in the UK. So plenty of work. So I encourage people to think about that as well. Is there anything else you'd like to say? So somebody who is, let's say you're a POM, you're thinking about jumping on the plane. What's the one thing that they should definitely do in Melbourne, do you reckon?
Oh gosh, there's a lot, and it depends on the time of year you come. At the moment, there's lots of events going on. With the F1 just starting today in Melbourne. But I think if there's one word of advice I can give, just keep an open mind. You know, it could be quite daunting. You don't know anyone coming across the ditch. But let me tell you, there has been multiple instances where at the moment I've got 2 candidates temping, placed them about 6 months apart. Turns out they went to college together in the UK. So you never know who you're going to find. Both came here alone. So there you go.
Fantastic. All right. Thanks, Mary. It's lovely talking to you once again from Melbourne, and hopefully we'll do it again soon. Right. So let's now jump into the results from last week's Twitter poll. And so the question we asked everybody is, have you considered taking on a second temporary job due to the cost of living? 50-50. 50-50. Can I say, and I think this is indicative of the cost of living pressures in the UK, that was 60-40 for the UK. So there's certainly people are feeling it and the cost of living in the UK. But in Australia, 50-50. It's still a high number that people are considering that second job, that side hustle. You can find out all about all of their poll results by going to hashtag P2P Live Australia, all on our socials, particularly on Twitter at People to People and on LinkedIn. Here's this week's question. And that is, would you leave a permanent job and take on a temp job for a 20% pay rise? Would you drop that permanent job and go, you know, bugger it, I don't want to, I need the money. Would you do it? And would you do it for a temp job? Jump onto our socials at People to People and vote yes or no, and we'll let you know the answer to that question next week. So that's it, everybody. Thank you once again for joining us live here from Wellington, and we'll see you this same time next week.